Good day, it's Anton Skeppers again here from the Agricultural and Industrial Marketing Company in South Africa, AIM, a Chief Agricultural Economist. And today I want to talk to you about grain production. As always, we're assuming that you are a small farmer somewhere in Africa and you want to produce grain on a big scale. So you want to produce it. Maybe you're next to a river or next to a little mountain stream. So we've got the technology to be able to generate electricity. So I'm not going to focus too much about that. If you want the information that we have in order to pump water from a river onto your fields, onto your lands, with the electricity, the so-called hydro pump, then please get in touch with us. Our contact details will be at the end of this video. I don't want to repeat this all the time about the hydro pump and our ability to generate electricity completely far away from the grid. So you could be 50 kilometers away from the closest electricity, and we can show you how to generate electricity to be able to pump the water onto your fields, whether you're doing maize or corn as they call it in North Africa, or you're doing sunflower, you're doing vegetables, you're doing wheat, you're doing sorghum, you're doing soya beans. This video is for you. We are going to show you how to irrigate it, and of course there's a lot of our videos on the irrigation technology. We don't want to spend too much time on that. More focusing on the actual way for you to be able to plant your product onto the field. If you want to know more about the irrigation, we have special videos on that. Again, contact us. This is all free, this material. And we will show you how to irrigate those fields of yours as well. Then we are going to be planting our product. Of course, we're going to show you how we're going to plant that, and then the harvesting process, of course, is normal. And then we're going to show you how we're going to dry these grains, how we're going to mill it, and how we are going to process it for the market. This is very important technology, and specifically aimed at you, the small farmer, completely off the grid or completely far away where there is no roads or there is no electricity. We have the technology, of course, also how to build that road. It's a specific type of powder that we put onto the soil, and you can drive with a big truck over that. So the rainy season is not going to give you any problems if you are on a dirt road. If you want more information on that technology, please be sure to get in touch with us, and get in touch with us with our details at the end of this video, and we would be happy to share that information with you as well. All right, so enjoy this video on grain production, looking at the full supply chain of grain production in order to be able to generate your own electricity, produce your own product, and then at the end we are going to dry and mill our own wheat, for example, where we can make various products with our wheat, with our maize, with our soya beans, and we will going to tell you a bit more about that. Okay, enjoy.
Cyber push and pull planter. Perfect selection. Cyber push planter. Our new design works with a two-wheel tractor.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we look at these machines that are being towed by these small tractors, please note that these planters, you can plant maize with it, or you can plant sunflower, you can plant pumpkins, you can plant sorghum, you can plant wheat with these planters. These planters operate completely independent. Look at this now. This thing puts down the fertilizer and it plants the seed. But in this case, it's towed by two humans. You can see these two guys at the back are just keeping the planter upright, but two guys in the front are pulling it. But it doesn't have to be two men pulling it. It could be two cows. It could be two donkeys. In South Africa, we call a light delivery vehicle a bakkie. You could even tow a bakkie in the front and it would plant. Here you see a tractor. These guys are busy planting pumpkins. You can see them manually putting the seeds in there, but the fertilizer also goes in. So they're planting pumpkins here. But they don't need a tractor to operate this thing. Look at this thing. You don't need a tractor to tow this thing. You are not using the tractor's PTO at all. You are not using any energy from the tractor. All this tractor is doing is it's pulling this thing along the ground. The guys at the back are doing all the work. So whether it's cattle pulling this, or donkeys pulling this, or anything else pulling it, the planters are working completely independent. There you can see the ladies are putting the seeds in while the fertilizer is going in as well. The faster you tow it, the faster you're planting. But you can go really slowly with a bunch of donkeys or cattle as well. It'll do exactly the same job. So we don't need a tractor here. Okay, that's very important for you to understand this when we're planting grain with these machines. Now, once the grains have been harvested, we find that there's usually a very big problem in drying the grains. Whether you're dealing with maize, corn, whether you're dealing with wheat, sunflower, soya beans, there is always a real problem in drying your grain. And while you're waiting for your grains to dry in the field, you find that there's a tremendous amount of losses as well. In this occasion, we provide mobile grain dryers like this that can dry 10 tons of grain in an hour and a half. Now, once our grains have been dried, we can store them in bags like this that you can also approach AIM for. You don't have to build huge big structures. You can save and protect and store your grain in long big bags like this, and it'll last for years. A popular use for maize is to mill it and to make pellets like this for animal feed purposes. Works well and it's cheap. Naturally, grains can be processed in many ways. You can do extrusions, you can do pelletizing, and all kinds of milling for animal feed, etc. Okay, so now you've seen the video. We've showed you how to plant the grains, okay, different technologies. Please note that the machines and equipment we showed you how to plant the grain, even though it's towed, some of it can be towed manually by a human being, could be pulled by an ox. You could have a donkey or an ox that pulls that planter. So don't always think it's got to be a human being that pulls it. That was just for demonstration purposes. You could have a cow in the front pulling this planting mechanism, or you could have a donkey in the front that pulls this for you. Or you could have two young men, strapping men, that can pull this planter, and we can then plant. Or you can use exactly that same machine, sometimes in a configuration where we've got 2 or 3 of those rows that plants and puts down the fertilizer. And you can put them onto the back of a tractor. You just need something to pull it, because the whole planter does everything. It puts down the seed and it puts down the fertilizer, which is absolutely fantastic for big field grain planting. So we want to be sure that you're able to produce a whole range of things on big fields, 20, 30, 40 acres or hectares, whatever the case might be, with this technology. We've also showed you then how we're going to dry those grains. We've showed you also how we are going to mill it, and we have showed you that we can, even in a container, we can do the value adding from wheat, for example, and bake our own bread with the technology that we have available. All right, so this is specifically looking at farmers that are looking at the grain, the full grain supply chain. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Please check out our email details or my cell phone details. On that cell phone is also my WhatsApp details. Get in touch with us. Don't let money stop you, please. We have so many people that say to us, we've watched your video, we need this technology, but we haven't got the money. That is not a problem. We can help you to raise those funds in order for you to be able to acquire the technology. Because the difference between where you are and a wealthy farmer is technology. We need the technology, and this is what AIM is all about, to be able to help you, the small farmer, with your technology. All right, so we hope you've enjoyed the video. Get in touch with us and we'll chat soon.